Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 209.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Now here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time it's the last Monday before St. Patrick's Day, you'll be alerted to it.
The only good thing about St. Patrick's Day is lots of corned beef.
There is. Well, good morning
Sales.
to Dr. Barry. We are the two crazy ketos, aren't we? He says,
Yes.
Hey, you crazy ketos. Love you, Dr. Barry. So my nephew Elijah decided that this was the perfect outfit for me. So this
It's pajamas.
This has actually been picked out by my elementary age nephew Elijah, who saw it in a thrift store and was like, "That is Aunt Rachel."
Nice.
So this is what I'm projecting.
So I'm well aware there was no sound during the countdown.
Sorry about that.
If you don't start, the way our system is set up, you have to start every program in a certain order. And if you start that program afterwards, you get sound. If you start it before, you don't get sound. And by the time we realized it, too late because I would have had to end the stream. So sorry about that.
We've jumped in already.
We've got, if you're new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We love to celebrate wins. We love to celebrate different accomplishments that people have had and posts that we have found. And we love to answer questions and comments from the last week. Now, the way we do this is we're going to do it live. We go through our whole normal Keto Beyond the Couch. Then we address the chat for like the last 15 minutes. So if you have a question, you can either A, hold off to the end, or B, you can use the super chat function down below. That highlights our screen. It also benefits our channel. We greatly appreciate that. If you're also interested in supporting us in other ways, you can join our paid Mighty Networks. We have a free group, and then we also have a paid one where you can help contribute a little bit to our mission. I have a couple of announcements before we get started.
Dun, 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 dun.
First, Perfect Keto is having a St. Patrick's Day sale. I told you last week they'd probably have a sale. So
Don't buy anything if there's not a sale.
never buy from Perfect Keto if they're not having a sale. I left the link for it down below. It's up to 35% off depending on how many items you buy. It's good all week. We greatly appreciate you guys using the link because it does help support the channel.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of, I'm pretty sure I can talk about this, and if I can't, I will get my wrist slapped later on.
You're going to get...
But I saw a post about it, or an email.
Easier to get forgiveness than permission?
Yeah, I did send Chris a message, and I didn't get a response.
Okay.
So I'm going with the answer is yes. Keto Chow is having a flash sale on St. Patrick's Day.
Exciting!
For Irish cream, which, by the way, we developed this flavor for
I'm
them.
pretty partial to this flavor.
Yeah. So here is the sale. On Friday, March 17th, from 11 to 6 p.m., 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
You're going to be able to get Irish cream, only Irish cream for 20% off.
Oh, he says I sent a response that Joe didn't look.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you. 20% off, only on Irish cream, using the code IRISH20. We'll have links for all of this stuff for you. In addition, 5 people are going to get their full order refunded, or a $50 Keto Chow gift card, whichever one is greater. So if you buy $20, you get a $50 gift card. If you buy $100, then you have a chance to get your entire order, like the money back for that.
How lucky. This says lucky, 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 lucky all over. But some lucky winner's going to have more than a pair of pajamas. They could have their entire order paid for.
Yes, yeah. So
now that's lucky.
That will be on Friday. Now you can combine the Irish 20 with our normal link, but if you use our link, it does benefit the channel. You get 20% off Irish cream And I'm sure Chris will correct me if I'm wrong. You probably get 10% off of the rest of your order if you buy Irish cream and other stuff.
Oh, Marbear says that's my favorite flavor for ice cream. Thank you so much. I love it for ice cream too. It actually makes a good breakfast ice cream.
Yeah. And last thing I just wanted to mention, Keto Brick re-released Nootropic yesterday. This is one of my favorite flavors. I ate a half a brick last night for dinner. It was so good.
It's something about when somebody suggests a certain
It's a limited
flavor,
edition flavor, by the way.
Then you're like, I want that,
Yes.
right? So if someone shows me like, oh my gracious, Sabrina had the most lovely omelet that she shared a picture of in our Mighty Networks group yesterday, and I was like, okay, that's all I want.
Yeah.
I want that omelet. So it was the same thing. It was like when Nootropic got re-released, it was like, oh, I want Nootropic because I want that flavor. Before we move on, it is
Marie's birthday.
It is Marie's birthday. She's double nickels today, 55. She's on the hunt for all the senior discounts. So, like, if anybody has the inside scoop for senior discounts, I'm all about it. My mother was the same way. It was like, I can't wait to pay half price to go to the movies, right? I mean, it's so awesome. But let's sing to Marie. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marie. Happy birthday to you and many more.
I just saw this real quick before we jump in.
Hey, John.
John said, after a 6-month stall and being stuck at 40 to 55 pounds lost, I started beef, butter, bacon, egg. That was last Wednesday. I've already lost over 10 pounds.
Yes.
Bring my total loss since I started to 56.2
Yay.
pounds. Yes, the 0.2 is important.
Heck yes it is. I want my 5'7.5" frame. I grew that half. You lost that 0.2. Give it to you. Congratulations, John. That's fantastic.
Lindsay Murphy is here. We had a podcast with her a couple weeks ago. We released the video version of that last week.
Don't miss it. It's awesome.
So you didn't even see today's topic. Does snacking and coffee affect your weight loss? So she said,
as I take a sip of coffee.
I'm hoping y'all don't say that my black coffee is a major issue. I just mentioned my coffee intake on my video yesterday.
Well, it can't be worse than my 2 pots that I had worked my way up to.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's at a 2-pot a day habit. Anybody out there, shout it out if you have reached Rachel levels, at least in the past, of a 2-pot a day habit. I'm thankful to say that really, truly, thanks to Dr. Barry and the Triple B&E Challenge, I drink about 3 cups of coffee a day, but that is significantly different than 2 pots of coffee a day.
Yeah.
I really credit him for helping me get rid of that because I was one of those people who drank coffee in order to not eat. I used beverages as a placeholder, and I'm gonna tell you, when he first chatted with us about doing Triple B&E, and he kind of just like outed that. It was so matter of fact, right? It's something I've tried to cover up forever.
Yeah.
But he was just like, we try to use beverages instead of eating, and it like messes up with our intuitive eating. And I was like,
it's not a horrible thing. Like Dr. Sivas talks a lot about
so dead on
using
for me.
Coffee as a bridge, but the whole idea in beef, butter, bacon, egg, and I don't want to make this a big beef, butter, bacon, egg thing, even though we love it. The whole idea of only having the one coffee experience is so that we get in touch with our satiety.
Yeah.
And we think we're fooling ourselves by drinking coffee.
And we ain't.
We want to get in touch. Once you're in touch with your satiety, it's fine to go, hey, I'm not really hungry, but I want to snack. And as Dr. Sivas says, snacking is an emotional event. Let me have some black coffee or something. There's a difference between that and using coffee to fill us up so that we don't eat less, or we eat less calories, which we're not going to get into calories. Before we get started, Susie said, I just ordered those keto bricks this morning. Can't wait to try them. What actual flavor are they? So they're called nootropic icing.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. They are a vanilla icing with a hint of pineapple.
Right. And I think that they're really nice for spring because they're very refreshing. Mm-hmm. It's not got like a hard, citrus flavor to it, but it's got a really nice note to it, and it has a very good mouthfeel. Now, if you look it up, we do have where we melt down the keto bricks, and that's usually how I like to eat them, is to turn them into pucks. I know you'll just like gnaw on the brick, but for some of us like that don't want to just drive down the road gnawing on a brick, I really enjoy the pucks.
So,
they feel very doable.
Let's jump into Keto Beyond the Couch. We're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This was an inspirational post that I found, and it is from Tammy.
Hey, Tammy.
Said, unlearn. You could live the rest of your life without eating another granule of sugar, but you can't stay alive for very long without salt.
Ooh.
Dr. James D. Nicolantonio from the Salt Fix. Rethink.
Wow, that is absolutely true. And it's so funny. The more we study different like creatures, right, and nature stuff, and I love going to zoos, and I like go. We recently went to Discovery Cove. You're learning so much about different animals. They all regulate salt.
So why don't we?
We try to avoid it. It's like crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, listen, we've been taught for years salt's bad for you. Salt's good for you. You need salt. I eat like 8 to 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day, and my blood sodium levels are still normal to below normal because your body regulates the amount of salt you have. If you do some research, and again, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, even though Dr. Barry is, and he will probably tell you this if you asked him, a lot of people who have high blood pressure actually have low sodium. Yet, what do the doctors say? Hey, you got high blood pressure. Let's cut out the salt.
It's
and
crazy.
A lot of times that actually causes a problem. So eat your salt, especially on keto.
Well, and also if you're somebody who is like, I'm really trying to dial down the sweeteners in my life, but I always have a craving for sweet things at a certain time of day, try eating salt. Get you some Redmond real salt. Get you one of those Redmond not the Relight, but
the salt licks.
The salt licks that they have. They sell them in bags, and they're really fun. And taste that, because you would be surprised how many times you're actually craving salt when you think you're craving something sweet.
And Rachel will use Redmond Relight and Element as a pixie stick.
I sure will.
So it's got a touch of sweetness in there, but it's very salty, and she will literally put it on her hand, and like we'll go throughout theme parks, and she will eat them like a pixie stick.
Y'all know I'm a weirdo. It's okay.
Let's jump into our Subscriber of the Weeks. We have a couple of them this week. The first one is from Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Sherry said, I started keto in April of 2020. Except for occasional birthdays, I didn't go off keto.
Way to go.
In late 2021, I found Two Crazy Ketos and many other YouTube channels that were talking about the benefits of keeping your total carbs very low. In early 2022, I transitioned to a more ketovore way of eating. 2021 has been very stressful personally. I've always struggled with sticking with the way of eating and overeating. Since late September 2022, I've been slipping back into the standard American diet. I felt it in my joints, my mood, my tinnitus, my headaches. I'm really struggling to get back into either keto, ketovore, or some blending of the two. Since 2020, I've lost 45 pounds and at least another 45 pounds to lose. I'm more concerned with feeling better.
I like that.
I know others have struggled too, and I'm just looking for ways to get it together and kick the carbs. I don't take many pics and only have headshots. The left is April of 2020. The two on the right are late 2022 and February of 23.
Oh, nice, Sherry. Oh my gosh, I love your hair color too. Absolutely gorgeous young lady, and you can do it. You're in the right place. I definitely advise, if you are trying to build resolve, get in community. Resolve is built in community. The more you get involved, if you post like, hey, this is what I'm eating. We've got people in both our Facebook family group and in our Mighty Networks group that are challenging you to share what you're eating, share how you're moving, share how you're living your life, because you don't have to do it alone. And we've got some exciting conferences on the horizon. The next one up is KetoCon, and you can still get $50 off of your ticket price before April 1st if you use the code 2crazyketos.
2 Crazy Ketos. We're going to be there. I know Chris
Dr.
and Miriam will be there. Dr. Barry will be there.
Miss
Nisha will be there.
Is gonna be there. I am so stinking excited about it.
Yeah, super excited about that. So here's what I'm going to tell you real quick, just to help you stay on track. So you talked about trying all these different things at keto, and you went back to the standard American way of eating. If you're struggling to stay ketovore or carnivore, and this goes for anybody, start simple.
Yeah.
This is where I believe that good keto products can help you on your journey. Even cooking things at home, making mug cakes or fat bombs at home. Use that as a bridge to get yourself into the keto wave eating,
Yeah.
lowering your carbohydrates, getting away from the standard American diet, getting away from the sugar, and what you will find is it becomes easier and easier and easier to not use that stuff. So that is why we do product reviews for people. Not that we eat everything that you ever see us review. A lot of times we do it for the review and then we may never have it again or once in a blue moon. But one of the reasons we do it is to point out to you, this is something that you can use to help you on your journey.
Yeah.
And this is something you shouldn't touch. And a lot of the things in the stores, you shouldn't touch because they're just slapping the name keto on there, but they don't understand what keto is. If you look at the ingredients and it's got coconut sugar and soluble corn fiber, I don't care how many carbs it is. Stay away from it because it's going to affect you. If it's got wheat in it, stay away from it. It completely goes against everything that we talk about on keto. But there are plenty of things out there that will help you get started, and you'll be able to wean off of them slowly. Because the biggest thing is you need this to be sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that your perspective is I want to feel good.
Yep.
And that I know that when I eat these other foods in the standard American diet, wheat being chief, the wonky oils being chief, like there's a lot of things that it's like when you kick the sugar and you kick the wheat and all of the products and the corn, you start to feel it inside of your body. I mean, you may not dump 50 pounds overnight, but you immediately start feeling more present and feel better in your own skin as those ingredients evacuate your system, right? Like you feel just so much better inside of your body. And that's for me the reason why I want to scrutinize ingredients. Mm-hmm. It's not just because I want to be successful in weight loss, but I really want to feel good in my body and not inflamed.
Yeah, and just since you brought up bad oils, the bad oils is not a keto thing, okay?
That's an everybody thing.
You can do keto with inflammatory oils like canola oil and sunflower oil and all those bad oils.
Sure.
You're not going to feel optimal.
Yeah.
They're not good for you. The reason we say bad oils is because nobody should be eating those oils. Whether you're on the standard American diet or you're on a vegan diet or you're on keto or ketovore or the Mediterranean, nobody should be eating that. If you see it in a family member's house, just quietly throw it out. Don't let them have any of that stuff. So that's not a keto thing. You will still be in ketosis if you're eating bad oils. You're just going to feel like garbage because they're not good for you.
You are, and the thing is that could be a problem is because we eat so much more like fat, right? Mm-hmm. You could really put yourself at risk of blaming keto for how you feel, right? So if you're eating a lot of things with like, canola oil, it's not the keto, it is the inflammatory oil, and you may be leveraging more of it than you would in the past.
Next one we have is from Ola.
Hey, Ola.
Ola said keto doesn't cure the curls. In all seriousness, I was going back to my Fitbit for data pre-keto. My average heart rate on a hike was 142. Today, 112.
Wow.
That's an on-scale victory worth more than the last bit of weight.
I love that.
The condition of my heart outweighs vanity.
Yes.
I thank God he gave me something I love this much that cures the blues.
Oh,
look at Ola's face there.
Ola, so gorgeous. I love seeing your beautiful face because I have to tell you, your posts encourage me so much. So I love getting to see your precious face. Just to put it with the post. Yep. Sometimes that's just really, really nice. Thank you guys for sharing pictures of yourself out doing life, out enjoying your best life. And I love that you are celebrating movement. And I find movement, especially like walking, and I won't say hiking because after we went to Utah and went on like a little baby mini hike, I realized that I've never gone on a hike before. I've only gone on a walk before. But I do like walking. It relaxes me. Just kind of get rid of like any frustrations. It's so good. So I'm glad we share that.
One more is from Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Cody said, "It is the eve of my 1-year ketoversary. It is a good time to pause and weigh both what I've lost and gained this year.
Ooh, that's good.
I've lost my inability to fall asleep, my cravings for sugar, my almost constant feeling of hunger, my self-doubt, my feelings of being alone. Oh yeah, and about 38 pounds and quite a few inches. What have I gained? The wonderful community, an understanding of fullness, excellent rest, a quieter brain, and overall a happier me.
Wow.
I started this journey to be supportive of my partner who knew where this would lead. Thank you, Rachel and Joe, for putting yourselves out there and showing us that we can too. Thank you, Joe, for being a wonderful coach and a great mirror. Here's to the beginning of another wonderful
wow.
year. Look at this.
Oh, Cody! Oh my gracious!
Cody is doing
Shell.
so well.
Shell, yeah, you're doing awesome.
She's doing so well. I'm
Stinking
so
proud
of her.
Oh my gosh, you're incredible. And thank you for getting our mind, Cody, on and where it should be. Such a good headspace. As you reflect on the year, you can't just look at what you've lost. You have to have your eyes on what have you gained.
That's right.
What have you gained since you started keto that you didn't have before? Because when I think about what I've gained since we've started keto, Joe, like I can't even measure it. I can't even weigh it. Yes, we have each lost more than 100 pounds, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the maintenance of that. But man, like I cannot put a weight on our lives that are transformed by keto. Like
Cindy
all
said
the things.
my comments aren't going through. I'm seeing your comments. So maybe something was just wonky.
She was congratulating Jen on her non-scale victory, so we can just pass that on. Cindy's like, way to go, Jen.
Yep. Okay, ready? Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the comments.
What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day? Are you doing anything? I know you're having corned beef and cabbage.
And then the next day buying all the stuff that's
all
left
the
over
corned
that nobody
beef.
bought.
Definitely get your eyes on the sales, Publix, Aldi, your local grocery store.
You'll be eating corned beef for like the next month.
Which he loves. That is like a delicious, delicious thing. So I'm not upset about it. Like I enjoy corned beef also. And I enjoy the cabbage, and I would just like to go ahead and publicly apologize to all of our neighbors and the people that we're going to come in contact with this end of this week and into next week as we have more cabbage than normal.
Dennis said, Joe and Rachel, a very good morning. Thank you for promoting healthy salt and electrolytes. Please see Dr. Roger Schut on his MedCram channel. I think his focus on serum sodium is much.
Awesome.
Yeah, there were a few people, like Lifestage Strength First said, salt regulated my blood pressure and helped my heart palpitations.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sylvie said, I heard someone say adding salt to black coffee was good. Tried it this morning. Not for me. Looking forward to my plain black coffee second cup. Use the Element chocolate if
salt.
you like chocolate.
Yeah.
That does not add a salty taste at all.
The caramel, they've got the caramel one. You've got, and I'm even growing to love the chocolate mint. It's so funny. So we really like the caramel salt from Element, okay? And you can only get the caramel one in the multi-pack, which comes with chocolate salt and chocolate mint. And it was so funny, for so long, we would pick through and chocolate salt and caramel would be gone out of that box and chocolate mint would just remain. Mm-hmm. But I've started actually being like, okay, don't just like start a new one, finish these chocolate mint. And I actually really am starting to like the chocolate mint in my coffee as well.
Yeah, and then Cindy said, I have chronically low sodium. The doctors told me to eat more salt even though I have high blood pressure. I eat more salt and I still have low sodium.
Thank you for sharing this.
And a lot of it is because of keto. When you're on keto, your body doesn't have the glycogen stores, and that's one of the places we store sodium. That's why we encourage you, eat a lot of salt. You should be eating at least a teaspoon of salt a day. A teaspoon.
That sounds crazy.
That's about 6 grams of salt a day, which would give you approximately 5,000 milligrams, I think, if my math is right. But yeah, make sure, if you ever see those little, I don't know where they are, but the little tiny Redmond vials, we don't carry them anymore. It's not enough
because
salt
we
for
need
us.
the big one.
But that's about how much sodium you should be having every single day.
It was so nice.
Just salt your food. Salt it to taste. And if you're working out, use more. Use the Keto Chow electrolyte drops. Use the Element or the Redmond Relight. If you know, as we come into summer and you start sweating outside, make sure you're getting in enough sodium. Hydration isn't about drinking water, it's about electrolytes.
Yes, and in fact, if you are already, deplenished on electrolytes, you drink a bunch of water, you're diluting it even further what you've got. So you really want to add back the electrolytes. I know it's been a really cold winter for a lot of people, and so you don't think about spring and summer are coming and you're going to start having higher temperatures and you're going to start sweating and stuff like that. But go ahead and stock up now on your electrolytes so that you have them. You won't be sorry that you do. And I did want to say we enjoyed so much getting to have dinner with Megan and Chris Miller last week, and it's so fun eating with keto people. So when we bring our own salt,
Nobody says anything.
Nobody says anything. It's like it's such a you're not the weirdo.
First comments from J Dom.
Hello.
I have been stalled lately. I know you recommend only weighing twice a month, but I went every single day last year to once a week this year.
Way to go.
Perfect.
That's good.
I'm getting there. I was kind of concerned about the stall and was glad you addressed this in a video. I got to the 100 down mark, but then I gained a bunch of weight and stopped losing. So I started freaking out and started weighing myself every day to see if my weight was fluctuating during the week at all. I started watching this video 2 days ago, and since then, I've gotten about 7.5 hours of sleep 3 nights in a row, and my weight has dropped
Way to go.
1.5 to 2 pounds 3 days in a row.
Fantastic.
I know I didn't lose that much weight in that time, but you are so right about sleep having a major impact on weight gain loss. I've been making it my mission to get in bed by 9:30 and seeing the weight loss 3 days in a row definitely has encouraged me to keep doing just that.
Way to go.
Yeah, we talk about, if you're new here, we talk about all the time your diet. There's an old saying, say abs are made in the kitchen, right? Which is kind of true.
Yeah.
But abs are made in the kitchen means your diet is a big portion of it. But you still have to do something to build those abdominal muscles,
And we
right?
know that.
So when it comes to your overall health and your weight loss, eating is only 80% of it. The other 20% is sleep, stress, and movement. You need to handle your stress. You need to get some movement in every day. Move 30 minutes every single day. I don't care if it's, in 6 5-minute chunks, but move every day for 30 minutes. And then finally, you need to get a handle of your sleep. And yeah, you do burn a lot of your fat while you're sleeping, but if you're not sleeping, that's a stressor on your body, which increases inflammation, which raises your glucose, and all of that stuff goes away when you're getting good sleep. So make sure you focus on your sleep, and I'm preaching to the choir because it's my biggest issue.
Well, and I think it's important for us to, like, if you are used to weighing every day and you're like, I'm used to having eyes on something, but I know that standing on the scale every day is not doing anything good for me emotionally. It's not changing it. Just because I stand on my scale and I look at it, does that make any difference on the scale? No, it doesn't. What can you have eyes on every single day that you can actively do something about? Your stress, your sleep, and your movement. You can look at that every day. You can ask yourself, did I move today? I'm going to look at that. No, I didn't. Okay, put your tennis shoes on and at least go for a walk, right? If you haven't slept and you're like, I'm not getting good sleep, it's time to power down earlier in the evening and start getting that sleep, making it happen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marie, for the $4.99
Hey, the
super
birthday
chat.
girl.
Said St. Patrick's Day is our 34th anniversary,
Oh
so we celebrate my
my.
birthday also, going to Brazilian Steakhouse.
I can't wait.
If I don't know which one you're going to, but Rodizio Grill is actually doing corned beef on St. Patrick's Day. I got that email the
Let
other
us
day.
know what's your favorite bite once you get back.
We had Rachel and Michelle went to a church event on Friday just for women called the She Gathering.
It's
They
so
had
cute.
a blast, and then it's like I was so excited about it. We were driving home from Orlando Friday morning, and Rachel was like, "Why are you so giddy?" And I'm like, "Because I can't remember the last time I went out to eat with just my boys, and it was just me, John Paul, and Caleb and Anthony, and we went to Rodizio Grill." And it was the best $200 I've ever spent.
Yeah.
And it, and listen, I don't like to spend money, especially going out to eat. Well, okay, fine for us. We're couponers. We usually use coupon things. That's why we do Texas Day Brazil, 50% off. But for me, it was worth spending any amount. I would have spent $1,000 to spend those 4 hours with my boys. It was so awesome. And we just ate all the meat.
Yeah.
All the meat. It was so much fun.
I was so glad that you did it. You know, sometimes we don't have our eyes on the right thing, right? Like, and we think, well, this is, for so long, we thought about just like food bringing us joy.
Yeah.
And now as our kids are like adults, time spent together, no matter what we're doing, like Michelle and I didn't eat, but it was such a precious time, like being at something where it was like a ladies event and it was me and her and Peyton. And we were all together as like the first, like, oh, let's, as a, 3 generations, get our pictures made together and like celebrate together. It was just a really beautiful thing. And I think about like how planning for those things bring us so much more joy now than like planning for like food binges in the past ever could.
Next one is from Alta.
Hey, just got home from the doctors. I'm type 2 diabetic and would like my A1C to be lower than 6.4 so that I can lose some weight. The doctor didn't seem to be concerned with my numbers. The non-scale victory is that I left my appointment without any new prescriptions and was told to keep doing what I'm doing. Maybe I'm stressing too much about the scale. Yep. I need to trust the process and know that I'm healing from the inside out. Next, I want to be like Becca and know that I can be freed from my meds. Congratulations, Becca. I saw that Becca was here earlier, so I'm so glad that you gave Becca the shout out. And I love that you guys are encouraging one another. And here is proof that when you share your story, you don't know who it's going to bless. You don't know who it's going to energize. You know, sometimes you think that like, can my story bring hope to anybody? Can there really be transformation that like begins with me? Yes. So here is somebody that's like anchoring their hope for the future to Becca's amazing success. And I'm so glad that you are anchoring it to Becca because Becca has lived out her journey one day at a time.
That's right.
You know, like really trusting the process and not being like, hey, I'm only going to jump in and share what's going on when there's this giant splash in the wave pool. Yeah. But like that just daily consistency is so important.
Now, as far as lowering your A1C, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep your carbs, your total carbs, not your net carbs, because net carbs is a joke. Your total carbs as low as possible. How many should you have? As few as possible. One day maybe 5 or 10, one may be 25. That's okay. Now, should every day be 25 or 30? No. Keep them as low as possible and keep doing it. You said it perfectly there. You're healing from within.
Yeah.
Keto is not a weight loss way of eating. It is a healthy way to eat. You're going to heal your body. The weight loss is just a side effect. But I want you to also look at this. I know you say you have weight to lose, but what if you got your A1C down to like say 5.2? What if you were no longer classified or labeled as a type 2 diabetic, but you don't lose another pound? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but would you be okay with that?
That would be a really big victory.
If the answer is no, I really want you to search within. We talked about this actually when we were in Utah. I think they even recently put up a little short about me saying this.
You're so cute.
I want you to find from within the answer yes. The weight loss will come, but let's heal ourselves first. I would rather weigh 300 pounds than go back to having to live every day on Arthritic and Vicodin. That's just, to me, the weight loss is great, but being free of those medications, being free of the pain, having the ability to run up and down a lacrosse field. Tomorrow, I have 3 high school lacrosse games. I'm looking at walking and running close to 15 miles within 4 hours.
Can we discuss how I have begun running, and I need you guys to keep me accountable?
I thought we weren't talking about
Well,
that.
I'm just trying to get into running because I hate running. So anytime...
Are you running or are you jogging?
I am jogging to start.
That's all I want you to do. Don't run, because running will tax your heart.
But what I'm trying to do, it's every other day. I am trying to, I'm giving myself a year, Joe. A year. To get myself from somebody who doesn't run at all and like, because I just don't like it. You know, when I don't like something, it's like I know I need to deal with it. Right. So I've always said to myself, well, I'm a fast walker. That's good enough. I don't need to ever run, but I really want to challenge myself in this area. So I am trying to run first a half a mile every other day. So I need you guys to keep me accountable. Rachel, are you running every other day? So I did get my run in this morning, and I'm going to work myself up over the next year to a 5-mile run.
Okay.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
It helps when your daughter-in-law is a fitness coach.
Yes. It does. It helps.
Or a CrossFit coach.
Consistency is success.
I just want you to know now, Michelle, if you're watching this, I am not getting rid of my 3D printers and my freeze dryer to build a CrossFit gym in my garage.
No, we're just, I can
my
go outside.
3D printers are more important than a CrossFit gym, just saying. Next one is from Matthew.
Hey, Matthew, I agree. You have to start somewhere. I'm more ketovore now, but would never have gotten off my sugar and carb addictions if I didn't start off getting a little dirty with the keto. Thanks for saying that, Matthew. Just keep refining your diet and do what works for you.
Yes, absolutely. That's what
so
we were talking about earlier. Next one is from Finnegal. Said, as someone that has weightlifted for many years and even competed in amateur powerlifting, gardening can give you a good workout.
That's good.
I have heavy clay soil and Bermuda grass, so I get a good workout just weeding. I have so many garden projects going on right now. I really need the weather to start cooperating.
I love that. Thank you so much for that perspective, because, you know, here's somebody that power lifted, successfully competed doing that, and they're acknowledging that functional fitness can be really helpful to build yourself up. You know what I would love, Joe? I would love if our little keto community had the best looking yards and the best looking houses and was ever able to fix up their apartments and have their stuff looking nice and fresh. So just because we may not all be like powerlifting in the gym, there's so much to do around the house, right? There's so much to do around your living space. Even I would love to know that, hey, this keto community, more people are participating in like park cleanups or beach cleanups, right? Because you're getting your exercise in, but you're also helping your community. So there's lots of things that we can do to get movement in that will build us up, but will also make our surroundings beautiful and really stress relief. Because you know what? When the house is all junked up or your yard doesn't look like you would like it, it can really weigh on you stress-wise.
Yeah, Sylvia said, my knees don't like running. I walk briskly up and down hills. Yeah, that's perfect. And a lot of people don't know, if you do have ankle issues or knee issues, walking or jogging uphill is easier on your knees. Sounds weird, but it is true.
Yeah. Connie was a big, who's in our group, we interviewed her, talked about how and she's a great runner, but she's trying to do the uphill and not the downhill because, the downhill
is bad. Uphill. Yeah. Walk uphill, run uphill, walk downhill.
Yeah.
Next one's from Sally.
Hey, Sally, 2 crazy ketos. My friend keeps thinking that she must give in to her cravings or it won't go away. She does what I call fake keto. I can't get her to understand that the more you feed the addiction never goes away. Do you have any ideas of something I can say to her or a video in particular that I can get her to watch? Now, I will say that I've had to put, when it comes to behavior issues, I have to do a little bit of some mind tricking going on. One of the things, for instance, that we suggest is, let's say you live in a house with somebody that's not keto. And so I always suggest that you see their food like it is the work refrigerator and they are not your family, they are your coworkers. And I say to do that to get your mind in that space because you would never, ever reach into a coworker's lunchbox at work in the community refrigerator and eat their lunch. You know that that's not appropriate. So if you can wrap your mind around and start believing these are not my family, when it comes to the refrigerator, these are my coworkers, you will stay out of what is not theirs. And in the same way, when it comes to giving into cravings, I do not give into other cravings all day long. How many times have you seen somebody with a crazy outfit on or a crazy hairdo and you think to yourself, that's crazy? I want to tell them that they could look better if they would not wear that thing or they would get their hair cut a different way. Do you manage not to give in to that craving?
Right.
Yes, you do. Why? Because it is not appropriate. There's times when somebody cuts you off in traffic and you have an inner desire, a craving, an ooh on the inside of you that's like, I want to do back to them what they just did to me. I want to cut them off. Do you not do that thing? Yes. Why do you not give in to that craving? Because it's not appropriate. So you are disciplined in those areas that you want to be disciplined in. So you need to find, how am I going to see this as inappropriate?
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to say is just do your thing and don't worry about what they say. She can say what you want. And here's the thing. If you look at, we mentioned it last week, if you look at something like heroin, so according to her, you have to give into your craving. So are you going to tell a recovering heroin addict, every once in a while when you're craving heroin, go ahead and have a little bit of heroin? Of course
not.
What do they do to help people get off of heroin without getting super sick? They give them things like methadone. It's less bad. Eating a keto product, is it optimal? No. Optimal would be not having anything ever. But a lot of us can't do that. So what do? We have what Dr. Berry says is less bad. Every once in a while, have something with a little bit of erythritol or something that helps with that craving without going back to the super dangerous thing. You're never going to get off of sugar if you keep dabbling in sugar. And I'm sorry if I offend somebody, but if you're going to once a week, once a month, whatever, allow yourself to, you know what, today's going to be a sugar day. You're never going to be able to kick that sugar habit. You're just not. You have to get away from it. And the thing is that keto sugars, they're just not the same thing. That sugar just hits such a point in your brain that you never want to give it up. So just keep doing your thing and ignore what she says to you. And right now, focus on you and not anybody else. Next one is from John.
Hey, John, will powdered cremora in my coffee stall my weight loss? 3 cups a day.
So this leads to today's topic.
Coffee.
Will coffee affect your weight loss? Yes and no. So if you're drinking coffee throughout the day that's black, probably not. But as we were talking about earlier, like Dr. Berry said, if you're drinking it instead of eating to fill yourself up, you're probably messing with some of your satiety hormones. If you're drinking it to not snack, but not to fill up just because it gives you something to do, then you're probably fine if you're drinking black coffee. If you're drinking, like Rachel, 2 pots of coffee a day, but then you're adding in a bunch of stuff, you're probably affecting your weight loss.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you are, because you're giving yourself calories, you're giving yourself fuel, which is stopping some of your body's burning its own fat, and you're having insulin reactions. Now, coming into this question, I kind of answered him, but he gave me a response, and then I decided to put it on here. Will powdered creamer, like cremora, in my coffee stall my weight loss 3 cups a day? Yes, absolutely. Cremora will stop your weight loss or stall your weight loss, especially if you're drinking 3 cups a day. First of all, go pick up a package of cremora and you will see the number 1 ingredient in cremora is corn syrup solids, sugar from corn syrup. Then it's got bad oils in it. It also is 1 carb per teaspoon.
Oof.
And that's what's on the label.
That ain't even going to turn my black coffee like
It could
brown.
be 2 carbs in a teaspoon, because remember, we have rounding issues. Always round up. If it's 1.75, they can list it as 1. Plus, it can be 20% off. So I'm going to tell you, if you're using cremora every day, 3 times a day, I don't know how much you're using, cremora is probably affecting your weight loss. It probably is. So what are alternatives? When it comes to a powdered creamer for your coffee, they're all going to add more carbs than a liquid. They're all bound to something. You're going to find that all powdered fats, even though the label says 0 or 1, there are carbs in them because, again, rounding issues. For example, I'm going to give you a few things that you can use. I would use something like this. Again, I wouldn't, if you're drinking 3 cups a day throughout the day, make sure you're doing it with a meal, because if you're going to add this in every one of your meals, you're going to be giving yourself fuel. You're going to be affecting your insulin. So any of these, if you're having it multiple times a day, you're
Stuff's
affecting your
happening.
weight loss. The only time I would say you can have multiple coffees throughout the day and not affect your weight loss is if it's black coffee.
Right.
But the second you're adding any kind of creamer in there, you're going to be probably affecting yourself, especially depending on how much you have. But this would be a good, healthy, powdered fat or creamer to add into your diet. And again, they're having their Perfect Keto sale for St. Patrick's Day. The next best option, or the only other two that I would ever recommend, is butter powder.
Butter powder.
Or heavy whipping cream powder.
Not as fun to say.
I left links for them down below. Now, here's the thing. So 1 tablespoon, it just shows you. So there's 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. Cremora, there is 1 carb on the label, 1 carb per teaspoon. So in a tablespoon, that's 3 carbs. And again, corn syrup, solids, and bad oils. 1 tablespoon of this, according to the nutrition label, is less than 1 total carb if you use a tablespoon of this. Now, is that as good as butter? No. But if you need a powdered option, it's better than Cremora, and round that up to 1. This does have carbs in it because, again, it's a powdered fat.
It's really
delicious. It's
delicious.
better than using Cremora. So put this into like some little dime bags. Like go online and order jeweler's bags, and you can carry those around. Like make your own little serving sizes if you need a powdered fat to take around. If you're just at the office, have a tub of this. Same thing with heavy whipping cream powder. Heavy whipping cream powder does have like double the carbs, even though the label doesn't say this. Remember, rounding issues. It has double the carbs of liquid heavy cream, but it's still going to be better than Cremora because there's no sugars or anything in it. It's literally just a powdered fat.
And then I do know a lot of people who use...
And they blend, by the way, really well.
Keto Chow as their creamer.
Yeah, Debbie's like, I use Keto Chow.
Yeah, Keto Chow. There's another one. So if you... And that's going to add... a creaminess, and it's also going to add a flavor to it. And let me tell you, it thickens it up too. Yeah. Like if you've ever put like even a tablespoon of Keto Chow into your coffee, it changes. It gets all thick.
And if anybody knows of a powder, if you're looking for a dairy-free option, I don't consider butter dairy. But if you're looking for a complete dairy-free option, I have yet to find a powdered coconut cream that doesn't have sugar in it. So if you know of one, please let us know so we can do a review on it. Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
Yeah, Angie's got it right. Your frother is your friend. Get a frother. You can get them super, super cheap. They sell them all over the place. You can get them on Amazon, but like the frother makes the difference. Especially for now, I feel like Perfect Keto mixes like dust, right? That's like, I can just shake it in the blender bottle and it goes great. For Keto Chow, if you're using that in your coffee, I need to have the blender thing for it to really mix well. Dime bags.
That's just the nickname for them, but obviously they're called jeweler bags.
Jeweler bags.
Next one, don't go on a plane with them though.
Yes.
At least not in your carry-on. Next one's from Dee Dee.
Hey Dee Dee, what's the difference between farmed and wild seafood as far as our keto community is concerned? Not sure which to buy.
Okay, so this comes down to just keto. There's no such thing as a keto food. There's keto-friendly foods. Both farmed and wild-caught seafood is keto-friendly. However, it depends on how clean you want to be. We will always promote wild-caught. Why? It's better for the environment. It also supports our local fishermen. You want sustainably wild-caught. You don't want people who are like killing off all of the species out there and then we don't ever get them. There is sustainably wild caught. There, longliners, things like that. But the big difference comes down to the way they raise them. They throw them in a big pool and they usually have to give them lots of antibiotics to fight off disease. Generally, wild caught is higher in fat than farm raised is generally higher in fat than wild caught, which you would think would be a good thing on keto. However, many times it's higher, much higher in omega-6s. So that's where you go back to preferring to use wild caught seafood. I'd rather you have farm raised than not have it at all. Like, do what you can afford. This is a grass-fed, grass-finished versus the cheapest, CAFO meat. Is grass-fed, grass-finished better for you? Possibly, by a small amount. I think that there's a bigger difference between wild-caught and farm-raised in fish than there is in grass-fed, grass-finished and grain-finished or grain-fed. There is a not as much of a difference there, but it comes down to what can you afford. I do think you are better off with wild caught just because of what it does to the environment. You get a lot of runoff for all of the antibiotics. What they're fed usually garbage and grains and soy and all that kind of stuff. And then once in a while, those farm-raised fish escape out into the wild, and then we have other issues with them mating with the other ones. So if you can, use wild caught. And here's the cool thing is, buy frozen.
Yeah.
I almost never buy fresh fish. It's a lot more expensive.
It's very expensive.
And most people don't know fresh fish from the local seafood place, unless you're like us and you're like they're pulling it off the dock and putting it in the store.
Because we live in Florida.
Most of the time, it's previously frozen anyway. But you can go to Costco and get like wild caught sockeye salmon for a quarter of the price of going to the local seafood market and getting fresh fish. And they're all individually vacuum sealed, so you don't have to worry about servings or it going bad or anything like that.
I see Country Girl is asking, how would y'all do a keto brick challenge to get enough protein? We actually did.
Well, back then we weren't into as much protein.
Right, but we did do 7 days of nothing but keto brick. If you ever want to see that video.
But even there, it would be a minimal amount of protein.
Yeah.
So I would eat at least 2 of these bricks a day.
And then I would probably beef it up with beef. A lot of times, Robert will do his own beef and bricks challenge where he is like eating the keto bricks and then upping up his protein.
But 2 of these keto bricks would be 60 grams of protein. It's not optimal, but if you were doing a week of keto brick only, the only problem is you're probably going to be missing some vitamins and nutrients. It was a cool reset. It was a cool thing to see.
It was fun.
But even Robert told us, like, I don't recommend eating only keto bricks. We did inspire them to do that once as well.
Right.
I would, if you're going to do a lot of keto brick, just make sure you add in some other protein. I don't ever suggest, nor does Chris and Miriam, suggest eating only keto chow every day to lose weight. It's not meant for that. It can be done, but it's not meant for that. But if you are drinking 3 keto chows a day as your nutrition, you should be adding in some protein somewhere. A can of tuna fish, a can of chicken, something like that.
I'll tell you what.
Shrimp.
The more people I talk to, though, Joe, I find that if somebody was to up their protein to even 70 grams, it would be a big deal.
That would be a big deal.
We are so under eating our protein that may need to be like where someone starts, sadly.
Next one's from Alyssa.
Hey, Alyssa, I was cleaning out my office and going through some old paperwork.
Oh my gosh, we're way behind.
Oh, sorry. I came across a note where I had written down my weight in 1995. Y'all, I weigh 10 pounds less than I did when I was 20.
That is awesome.
Congratulations. I love that. You're right. I mean, if you talk about like data collection and then making sure like, okay, well, what do we do with that data collection? It's kind of nice to stumble across a time capsule of sorts.
The only thing I got out of that, she was in high school in 1995. So, next one's from Candy.
Hey, Candy.
I have a question. Joe and Rachel talk about fasting. Do they or do you drink flavored electrolytes during your fast? Does flavored electrolytes break a fast? I've seen multiple people say yes and multiple people say no. Just curious what others do. Depends on why you're fasting.
Yeah.
I would tell you probably about 90% of the time we will use our flavored electrolytes during a fast. Are there a couple of calories in there? Yeah. I think 3 or 4. Is there a possibility of the cephalic insulin response? Yeah. Am I going to worry about it? No. Now, if I'm doing a super strict fast, we will do water only and then either do the Redmond electrolyte capsules or the Keto Chow electrolyte capsules or tablets, or rather tablets, I guess is what they are, and then the liquid. But most of the time, if we're just doing a 24-hour fast just because, hey, I'm not hungry, I want my electrolytes, and I just drink them and I don't worry about it as much.
Keto?
But Don't dive into the little stuff.
Keto Simple graduated from high school in 1998. Like, are we the oldest people in the world? Is that what it is, Joe?
Yeah.
We're ancient. We are ancient of days.
Next one from Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin. Anyone ever have a hard time deciding what they want to eat? I'm on day 2, and I think it's more because I'm fighting the carbs and think I'm going to find myself overeating soon. So as you're transitioning from that carb-fueled life to a fat-fueled life, my recommendation is make your decisions as easy as possible. You definitely want to leverage some meal prepping. Don't be going down the interwebs and looking for like fancy, like hard to cultivate 14 ingredient meals that look beautifully stimulating. But when you are just trying to fight off the carb cravings, you have a hard time like sticking to it, right? Like that's not the time that you want to be taxing your brain with a lot of decisions. So I would say make a whole big batch of bacon, make a whole big batch of burgers, make a couple of keto casseroles. We've got all kinds of delicious casseroles on our website. If you go to twocrazyketos.com, you're gonna find a whole recipe sections with things like taco pie. There's things for breakfast. There's all kinds of balls, that we make that you can meal prep ahead of time. Our lasagna is where it's at. Pizzas, like really easy to make, filling food that you can just go into the refrigerator and get it, warm it up, and eat it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say was the easiest way to not feel bored and to go, hey, what should I eat today, is have a whole bunch of meal prep with a lot of different things. Don't just meal prep 2 dozen hard-boiled eggs and say, that's my meal prep, because you may get sick of eggs. Some people get sick of eggs. I don't want to eat just hard-boiled eggs every single day. I want to open up the fridge and go, you know what? I'm going to have a hamburger. You know what? I'm going to have an egg. And just having all of those different options, meal prep, will really help you.
And I think that you also need to have budgeted when you're getting started some fun things to do. Some fun things for yourself. Make sure that you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to a museum, or I'm gonna go to a zoo, or I'm gonna go see something beautiful, because yes, you are taking away something out of your life. Don't leave the void there. Put something in that void that you really enjoy.
Next one's from Nola.
Hey, Nola.
Well, I did it this morning. Every day I would see a post, how are you going to move today? Well, my butt would just stay on the sofa. But I kept seeing that post and told my husband, I have to start doing something. So today he said, come on, I'll go with you. So we walked around our 5-acre property, uphill, downhill, maybe a quarter to a half a mile. This is day 1. Thank you for the post every day. I'm not making out any workout plans. I'm just going to try this every day without expectations. Again, we talk about sharing in our community. Somebody decided to start putting up
Zoe.
Posts. How are you going to move today? What's on your plate today? And this is what it leads to.
And I want to say thank you so much to everybody in the Two Crazy Ketos family that, and in the Mighty Networks that post that sort of thing, that you challenge people and you do it consistently, just like you live out your keto consistently every single day. And you think to yourself, I'm making this post every day. I am sharing my story. I am sharing like a challenge to people. Is anybody listening? Am I just like coming through as repetitive and this ain't doing nothing? Clearly, it is doing something. But sometimes we just don't see the fruits of our labor, right? We don't see the seeds that were planted. And I'm so thankful, Nola, that you posted this, because it really encourages those people who are heavily involved in our groups.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one is from Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
So last week I did 7 days without consuming anything with sweeteners. I still continue with my other bad habits, like eating late in the evening and snacking on too many pumpkin seeds. Amazingly, I lost 2 pounds in those 7 days after months of slowly but surely gaining back 15 pounds of the 85 I previously lost. I thought this was interesting.
It is.
One step at a time.
It really is. And that, as we're going into conference season and KetoCon being like the first major one, it's important that like you take a journal to that, you take a book, you're taking notes, and you're gonna come away from whatever you participate in with like, this is the one thing I'm going to do. Don't, it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? It'll blow your face off. There's so much information to be, gained. but you can only handle things one thing at a time. Once, you get that like sweet cravings dialed to a place where you're comfortable, then you handle the next thing. You don't want to be like, well, if I can't do 5 things at once, if I can't juggle, then I'm not even going to try.
Right. Next one is from Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
I've been off the wagon for over a year, but still have been following along with 2 crazy ketos plus Dr. Barry and Nisha. This may seem small, but to some, but day 2 of keto is done. Who needs a Monday to start?
Love you, Rachel and Joe. Love you. And thank you so much for sharing that. And that is something that I want people to keep in mind. If for some reason you are off keto, quit keto, remember this post, okay? If you know somebody that's like off of it, we still need community. This isn't like the end. I am on keto 2.0. So like it doesn't mean that just because you fall off the wagon that you're like, well, I guess I've like turned in my 2 crazy ketos family card and I don't get to participate in the family. I can't even tell you how many people have come to us and they're like, I'm not even keto. They've written us, but they're like, but the community is really good, that I need to stay optimistic. I need the positivity. What I'm eating doesn't even matter as much as holding on to the positivity. So never think that if you've fallen off of the wagon that you need to like leave the family, right? Or that you need to be like, well, I'll tune back in once I decide to have a case of do better. You don't need to do that. We're so tickled that you're here.
Next one is from Tina.
Hey, Tina.
Tina said, hi everyone, I haven't shared in a while. The last 3 weeks have been very stressful. I've managed to stay on plan. Yesterday I had serious cravings for ice cream. In the past I would definitely have gotten a large blizzard and had that for dinner, then wallowed in self-loathing for a while. But I didn't do that this time. I went home, made a caramel macchiato keto chow in a blender with lots of ice, had a smoothie bowl for dinner. I chopped up some Chalk Zero in it too, 1 dark peanut butter cup, 1 85% dark chocolate square, and 2 dark chocolate covered almonds. So I was able to have my frozen treat without sabotaging what I've been working for. Keeping keto chow on hand saved me last night.
I am so stinking proud of you, Tina. And yeah, I am very thankful that there is enough variety of products out there that you can make yourself a very intricate dessert if you choose to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and for those days, and boy, the elimination of self-loathing is so powerful. And I don't think that we talk about it enough. We should talk about it more.
That should be a podcast.
It should be a podcast because I'm telling you, nothing is more undermining to your goals than hating yourself. You are not going to be able to be successful and enjoy your success until you decide, I'm going to love myself. And maybe this is the month where you're like, you know what? The ingredient that I need to eliminate out of my life is hating myself, negativity, and terrible self-speak.
Country girl, thank you for becoming a channel member. So what I wanted to just say in there is this is where we're talking about keto products. And so I know someone right now or later on when they're watching the replay is going to type down like, you need to stay away from keto products. Would you rather Tina go and have a blizzard? Like, is having a keto chow with a bunch of Chalk Zero in it optimal? No. But it's better than having a blizzard. And so if you have to do that every once in a while until you can really get a handle on things with your emotions, that is the better option. The only thing I do want to mention is Chalk Zero. Again, please, Chalk Zero seems to affect some people's glucose. Make sure you're testing yourself. Even there, I think that it's probably better, especially when you're mixing with keto chow, than having sugar.
Yeah.
But I want everyone, don't just eat Chalk Zero all day long and think like, well, it's keto. For some people, it affects glucose. Dave Feldman actually just put a nice little video up about that too. So just make sure with anything, you are testing yourself.
But I'm really thankful for a post like Tina's where we can see a person behind the use of keto products. Because I think that if you're like, we just see it as like a big faceless community and we're like, everything that's a keto product that has a sweet taste to it is bad. Like, slash it, get rid of it. But then when you see a real live person and you have to, come to that decision. Are you going to tell Tina she's going to have something, Are you going to be the one that points her to a blizzard, or are you going to be the one that cheers her on when she selects Keto Chow instead? As for me in my house, we are going to celebrate people, not slash them.
That's right. One more from Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Today is your day one. Whatever you've been doing, this hasn't been serving you in history. Today is a new start. And remember, this time you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience.
That is so stinking good, Stacy. And it's a great reminder that, like, you don't want to focus on your past failures, but you want to say, okay, every failure represents more knowledge that I have that, like, okay, that's not for me and I'm going to do something different, right? Like, so we celebrate now all of the past failures have actually helped us, Joe, to be able to have empathy with someone who is struggling, right? I used to kick myself for like, oh, I failed at Weight Watchers. Oh, I failed at Jenny Craig. No, now I know, hey, I tried those weren't for me, and now I can move forward in like, what is the next thing that I can do that will work? And that really brought us to keto, honestly, because like you say, I tried everything else.
That's right.
So once we found keto, it was like, oh, well, that was the winning thing. Well, what was it? Thomas Edison, it was what, 7,000 or some ridiculous number of like light bulb attempts. We only know him for the one success.
That's right.
Right?
Let's get into a few comments before we get off. First one is from John.
Hey,
John said,
John.
strange beef butter bacon egg question. Have you ever had phantom smells? A couple days ago, I was smelling brisket and there was no meat in sight. And yesterday, I was smelling freaking baked potatoes. Gone after eating.
I think that my nose in general, it's interesting as your palate changes and gets cleared up, because again, we need to be concerned about what sugar does to our brain and how it confuses us and how there's so many like wrong signals that it sends, right? And the manipulation of the bliss point in our brain used by laboratories making sugary things, like it, once that is removed from your life, we've said that like lettuce tasted very sweet to us, like our palate was made alive, you know, once we got rid of the sugar. Well, I feel like it's the same thing with our smells and like with our taste buds, and everything has changed a lot. So yeah, I find that I'm very sensitive to things, and it's not just food, but it smells in general. I mean, we went to, and my mom is having the same thing. We went shopping recently, and we were just at the mall, like window shopping before we went to the thrift store to purchase stuff. And we walked through the perfume section, and it hit her like I don't think it's hit in years, because it's like your sensitivity in all things are different.
Next one's from Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Said, hey guys, I love your channel. I've lost weight and hoping to continue to get increased energy and lose the blues and less anxiety as I go forward.
That's
Thank you for all of the
awesome.
support.
What a great like goal.
JJ said, I just happened to pop in and I see my comment on the screen. I've been continuously getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep,
Yes.
and now I'm at my new low of 286.6.
Way
Y'all
to
continue to
go.
help and bless me. Thank you.
So proud of you, JJ.
Santa said, I'm task-oriented. In 2015 is when I started keto. I'm so competitive that actually looking at the scale and writing it down on a big chart that everyone can see every day has helped me to lose 110
Way to go.
pounds.
I like seeing somebody who's very like, you know, strong in their resolve. Like for me, it like weighing every day was crippling.
Yep.
But for somebody, I it sounds like you have a much better like self-speak habit than I did. That's good.
Sana said, so funny, I was watching one of your videos the other day and Rachel reminded me of Kitty on that 70s show and Joe was a little salty like Red. I laughed so hard when I made the connection.
That is awesome. Well, I don't mind being compared to those precious people at all. Thank you.
Chris said, what if you only use butter in your coffee? Again, butter is fuel.
Yeah.
I would... Every time you eat, you're having an insulin reaction.
So sit down and eat a real meal.
And every time you eat, you're having a meal.
Yeah.
So have butter in your coffee, but do it with your meal. Or just know that you're having a meal.
Right.
If you're having 2 cups of coffee and then you're not eating till 3 o'clock, you had 2 meals. But if you're having a cup of coffee every hour, say 7 hours a day, and then eating 2 meals, then guess what? You just had 9 meals. So that is just something you want to look at. if you're gonna just randomly drink coffee throughout the day,
You
and
wanna-
I have a hard time doing this, that's why I don't drink as much coffee.
Right.
Then drink it black. I think
Okay,
even
well,
black
lay
with a
down
couple of
right.
drops of stevia is better than putting cream in it if you're just going to have it throughout the day. Because with the stevia, though, you may have a little bit of a cephalic insulin response, which, again, I would be careful because you don't know. That, to me, is better than having the fuel. Try to
Lord.
limit your coffee to a couple of times a day or with your meals.
This thing's aggravating the poop out of me.
Juju said next week a GoFundMe for
Fixed.
bail for his dime bags of cream for the next speeding ticket.
Right, seriously. And let me tell you, we've gotten all kinds of bags searched over stuff because we're traveling with salt or we're traveling with keto chow or like just all kinds of things. It's crazy.
Angie said everyone is buying Prime electrolytes. I've never heard of them. Don't. It has so much sugar and not enough actual electrolytes.
Thanks for the
So
tip.
there are pretty much 4 electrolytes that we recommend. The 3 that we recommend the most are Element. There is a link down below. If you use that link, it does support the channel as well as gives you a free pack of like a sample pack. I think there's 8 in the pack. Redmond Relight, we have a discount code down below, which is 2 Crazy Ketos. That gets you 15% off. And then the Keto Chow electrolyte drops or the tablets. And when you use our link, you get 10% off. Now, why do we recommend those? Not just because we're affiliated with those companies. We recommend those because that's what we use.
Right.
Because they use good quality ingredients and good electrolytes that are easily used by your body. They're bioavailable to your body. The other one that we have used and we will recommend every once in a while for people would be Perfect Keto, but I like the ratios better in the other ones, but Perfect Keto isn't bad. A lot of people like to use Ultima. I'm not a big fan of Ultima. I'm not a fan of the types of electrolytes they use compared to the other companies, and I don't think there's a big price difference. So that is, even for us, where it gets, unless you buy it in the tub, it's the same price or more money than the other companies. And we really can't use tubs here because with the humidity, they get clumpy and hard as a rock, and you have to use a chisel. That's why I don't even buy tubs of Redmond Relight anymore. I use everything in the sticks. And that's even the perfect, not the Perfect Keto, the Keto Chow capsules, the tablets. I sent Chris a picture of mine. After just 1 week of sitting out, it became all dust because they soak up all of the humidity in the air. So those are the ones we recommend. Please don't use Gatorade, even Gatorade Zero or Powerade Zero for an electrolyte, or Pedialyte, even if there's 0 sugar. You're not getting enough electrolytes with that stuff, and there's carbs in it. We did a video years ago to show, I think that to get 1,000 milligrams of potassium with Gatorade, you have to consume, if I remember right, it was like 30 servings of it. And then you ended up like with somewhere around 18 carbs. So that is definitely not. Those are the ones that we recommend. People like to drink pickle juice. That gives you some sodium. To me, just salt your food. You're not getting a lot of other stuff. It's better than Gatorade.
Yeah.
But doesn't taste like Gatorade. And like I always encourage people, even when I'm at the field, when people like try to use Gatorade, I will hand them sticks of Element. I just gave Hugh, my diving buddy, and the guy who's teaching me to be a dive master, I gave him a whole bunch of Element yesterday because he was giving his kids on the lacrosse field on Saturday. He was giving them Gatorade. And I'm like, stop giving them Gatorade. It's sugar. It's actually dehydrating them more.
Yeah. Thanks, Gloria, for becoming a 2KK friend.
LM said, how the heck have I been 95%? Occasionally I eat thighs, beef, butter, bacon, eggs since 123. Ketones average 1.2 and no weight loss in weeks. Total lost 10 pounds since January. I love you too.
Love you.
You're probably having some body transformation. You're probably losing fat. Fat weighs more than muscle, or it's bulkier than muscle when you look at 5 pounds of each one. And you're going to have this transformation. Rachel did 45 days of beef, butter, bacon, egg, and didn't lose any weight,
Not 1
but
pound.
lost a whole bunch of size. So those are things
How
to
is
look
your
at.
measurements going? And then also what's going on with your sleep and your stress and your movement? Is there any room for improvement in those areas? If there is, then I would start there first because you've got the nutrition right. It's nice to have something right. It used to be I had nothing right, right? I didn't have the nutrition right. I wasn't moving. I wasn't sleeping, and I was stressing out. So once you have one thing right, you don't be like, okay, well, I'm going to abandon that. Now I'm going to go back to eating like crap, and then I'm going to go visit, my sleep. No, you've got that going steady. While you have that going steady, then reach into the next part.
Cindy said, I tried Relight at the beginning of my keto way of eating too salty for me, so I have not tried Element, much more salt. So Relight and Element used to have the same amount of sodium in a serving, but what happened was
You know how you can fix that, right?
water it down.
Add more water.
I was getting there.
Yeah.
So Redmond's serving was supposed to be mixed in like 24 ounces of water or 20 ounces of water, and what they realized is most people are adding it to 16 ounces of water, which meant it was saltier.
Yeah.
So they reduced the serving size. The tub is the same, the price was the same, but so you get more servings in a container, but there's less in a serving. So it reduced it down to like 850 milligrams. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. But what I do is, even with Element, I don't use a 16-ounce bottle of water unless that's all I have. I generally put it in like 24 or 36 ounces. I'll put it in a blender bottle, which is 26 ounces. And so I water it down. But you will find that the longer you're on keto, the more you crave salt. And things that used to be salty are no longer salty. They're actually very, very sweet.
Still, like, he waters his down way more than me. I like mine good and concentrated. So it's also going to be like a taste preference. Joe even waters down his coffee. Like, Joe's like, run it back through again where it's just hot water. And I'm like, I want it like super concentrated. So I think it's just going to be a flavor thing. I've seen the same thing where people have questions about keto chow. They're like, oh, it's too thick. Add more water.
Yeah.
Thin it out.
Last one. Gloria said, I'm going to
Gloria.
up my membership. Just wanted to get in here quickly. How are you guys losing more weight? You both look wonderful. What are you doing additionally? So we're going to actually do a video about that, but we're not really doing, we've incorporated a couple of extra things, but we're still eating what we were eating before. For me, the biggest thing has been working on my sleep and my movement. It's in the middle of lacrosse season right now. I've actually doubled the amount I was eating, but I'm just moving. And I'm getting better sleep and things like that. So, but we're going to do a video about that pretty soon. So
I'm excited.
We're going to get off. So Thursday we will be live. We will be home on Thursday.
Exciting.
So join us for our live stream on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody have a great day.
We love you.
Bye.